y'all, this is Laura with Hot Fan Media, and today I'm going to be showing you how to replace the window motor actuator on this 06 Toyota Highlander. Let's get right to it. So the first step is going to be to take off these little plastic pieces here. The best thing to use for this are these plastic pry tools, because if you use a metal screwdriver head, you might tear or scrape at this fabric here, which is not good stuff. So I'm just going to get in here. There are two snaps, one on this side and one on that side, so I'm going to try to get directly under that snap and push it on out. There we go. So right in here where the ashtray was is this little screw. So we got to take that one out. Now you're going to want to keep this somewhere safe. I'm going to put mine in the ashtray so I know exactly where it goes. So the next thing is this handle here. And the first thing we're going to have to do is pop this little plastic piece out. Be very careful because it kind of chips. And now we're going to take this screw out right here. So now we're going to take our plastic pry tool piece and pry right around in here, coming in and pushing up. There's a little gap right here, and that's where the snap is. So it looks like we've got a snap here on this top end and here on this bottom end. And now you hold the handle open so you can slide that off. And now the very next thing that we've got to do is pop this little socket out. It's actually a very nice type of pop socket. You just push this hole in and it should come right out. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, darn it. I think I broke it. And that's just kind of what happens because they're stupid plastic. So might have broken that one, but we'll survive. And then we got to take this piece out right here. There we go. Okay, so the next thing we've got to take off is this panel right here. I think it's going to be a little too small for my plastic pry tools to get in, so I'm going to risk the metal screwdriver. Just being very gentle. I'm going to slightly twist it. There we go. Now we're going to unplug them. This one's got a tab right here. You push it in and try to gently wiggle it out. This one's got a tab right here. Push it in and wiggle it out. Come on, wiggle. There it is. Shooey! Okay, so it looks like there's a wire we've got to watch out for on this radio here, and I know there's going to be a wire for this courtesy light here. So when we pull the door off, those are things that we're going to need to be looking out for. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our pry tool and starting from the bottom, going up, pop it out from its sockets. Oh, here's snap. This is why I like these tools, is I can get it right up under that old plastic piece and push. There it is. Now we've got all those popped out. This door hangs on this ledge here, and you just kind of have to pick it up. Okay, there we go. Oh, I don't have to mess with any wires here. Just got to get this courtesy light out. So the tab is right here, and you just pull it out. There we go. Now we're gonna set this aside. Okay, so the very next thing that we've got to do is take off this plastic sheet, because we've got to get into this hole right here. And this little goop is like forever sticky. So what you got to do is just really carefully cut it. I should be wearing gloves. It's gonna get all over my hands. Grabbed a glove because it's really sticky and I don't really want that all over my hands. So we're just gonna carefully cut through it a little bit. Don't worry, it'll go on just fine. I mean, it'll go back on just fine. I'm gonna worm this through this opening here because it's just getting in the way. Don't want to accidentally cut that like at all. That'd be bad. Okay, I got interrupted because I realized this right here is gonna come off for you to get all the rest of the plastic off. So pretty sure it's 10 millimeter. It is. This just pops out. Now there is actually another way to do this. You pop this out and you mess with this, and I don't really want to mess with it. It'll hang there and it might be in the way a little bit, but I'd rather do that than mess with all these wires. You may be different though. I'm sure it's not that much more difficult. I just decided to do it this way. Gotta be really careful here because of this wire. Would not be a good deal if it got cut. There we go, freedom! Okay, so this has to be put away, not glue side down, which is something I would do probably. So we're gonna go set this down this way, not on the glue side. I'm gonna screw this back in just to keep it out of the way a bit. So the next thing we gotta do is plug this back up for a moment. Okay, so we're gonna roll this window down until the regulator hits in about here where we can see it, and then we're gonna take all that out. So we can see this bolt in here. We're not gonna see the bolt on the other side until these are taken out. Looks like the tab is right here. You push it in. There it goes. Okay, there we go. That's actually heavy. So now we see our bolts, one right here, one right here. Got to take those out. Is it 10 millimeter? Can I get away with this? It is 10 millimeter, but I need an extension. Okay, so I grabbed this extension so that I can get in here with a bit more ease. You got to be very gentle. And now the window has to come out. It has to be done extremely carefully. Okay. There we go. Now I've got to set this somewhere where it won't get cracked. So the regulator has 6 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one we're just gonna loosen a little bit because it comes up and through. It helps when you put it back in, you can set it down on something instead of holding it up while putting all the bolts in. So we're just going to loosen that one right there. And then we're gonna take out all of these. Okay, and before we take it out, we have got to unplug this. This plugs into the window motor. So just gonna snap that out. Okay, and reach in here, push it up, slide it down. You have to kind of collapse it so that it comes through. Okay. Okay, here we go. So this is the new motor and regulator combo. We got it for a really good price at O'Reilly's. So the next thing we need to do is test the motor. So I'm gonna plug this wire into this wire, and I plugged these back in. Turn on the switch and let that run for about 4 seconds. Alrighty, now I'm gonna take this back out and put it all in. This piece right here, this is the indicator of which side you're putting it in on. Also the fact that the motor sits right in here. So This piece needs to be facing out. This is the bolt from the old regulator that I left slightly on. Got to put it back on the new one, right in this spot right here. I'm gonna leave it slightly loose so I can get into this hole easily. And you want this part to be on the outside, not on this side like this. Here we go. And hang it on that bolt. There it is. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna pull the regulator arms down to about where they were. So real quick, this piece can actually turn like 365 degrees to the other side like this. So be careful to make sure that this right here is pointing towards the vehicle, or you can say it's pointing towards this yellow piece, because if you don't, then the window won't function correctly. Okay, I'm just gonna put all the bolts in. I'm not gonna tighten them all down until I've got all of it put in, just in case I've made a mistake. Okay, so now the window goes back in. Gotta slide it into these channels here. Okay, gonna gently guide it down. There it is. Now we're gonna screw our bolts back in. Okay. Now we're going to put our window switch back on. So now we're going to test the system that we put in. We're going to make it go up and down. That's one turn 3 times. So we're going to go up and down and up and down. Okay, so it's making those noises because I haven't tightened the screws down all the way. It's not broken or anything. And up and down. Now I'm going to tighten those screws and give it one more rotation like that, just to be safe. I'm just going to leave it there for a minute. The motor for the window can sometimes overheat, so I'm going to leave it down for a minute before bringing it back up the one last time. And I am going to start to put all the stuff back. I'm going to start by unplugging these. And we're going to stick this back through and stick it back to the annoying sticky stuff. I'm going to slide this one through. And then do the rest of it. Pop this one back on. Okay, next I'm gonna plug in all these wires back. Just gonna let that lay in there. Plug this one in, and I think the door goes on next. Woohoo! Almost done. All right, and now the door is gonna go on. I'm gonna plug in this courtesy light first. Here we go. The door goes back on with this ledge sitting down here. So you're gonna slide it in. Okay, there we go. Put it down on there. Watch out for the handle. Now we're gonna pop the sockets back in. Your little clicks. Boom. 2, 3, 4. And that's it. I'm gonna stick the door handle cover back on. This hooks on this right here. So when you put it in, you gotta push it forward and then in. Okay, now I'm gonna screw this screw back in where the ashtray goes. Now this gets plugged back in. pop that one in. Okay, now we're gonna pop this in. This L and this R here are indicators of where it has to go. To the right, to the left, and it should pop right in. There we go. And then this goes back on. Gonna line up these little posts in the holes, snap it back in, and that's it. Now we're gonna raise the window back up. And we're all done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found the video helpful. As always, I'm happy to answer any of the questions that you have down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the garage. Replace the window motor the window motor actuator on this 06 Chevrolet. Oh, no, I goofed it. The window. I'm tired and it's so hot. Ugh. The window motor actuator. Did I do it? Continue. To replace the window motor actuator on this 06 Toyota Highlander. Let's get right to it. Julie, yes, Julie's like dancing.